After former U.S. President Donald Trump publicly announced that a ceasefire had been reached between Iran and Israel, declaring that both nations had approached him seeking peace and that the conflict would officially end within a few hours, the world was jolted by a very different reality on the ground. Despite Trump's declaration, Iran launched a sudden and intense barrage of missiles targeting Beersheva, a city located in southern Israel approximately 115 kilometers from Tel Aviv and 120 kilometers from Jerusalem. The scale and precision of the attack shocked observers. As entire buildings were reduced to rubble, emergency sirens wailed across central Israel, and mass casualties were reported. For once, Israel openly admitted to suffering significant losses, a rare move given its usual reluctance to disclose military or civilian casualties in such circumstances. As reports emerged of possible missile impacts near the Nevatim airbase and other sensitive military installations, both Israeli and Iranian authorities remained officially silent, though independent media sources suggested a growing regional crisis. Trump, meanwhile, maintained the narrative that his leadership had achieved a ceasefire, portraying himself as a global peacemaker deserving of accolades such as the Nobel Peace Prize. Yet, while Trump was celebrating his diplomatic achievement, Israeli forces reportedly carried out strikes on Tehran itself, undermining the ceasefire claim and signaling what many analysts viewed as a tactical deception meant to trap Iran. Iranian officials, notably the foreign minister, had earlier made clear that Tehran would not retaliate unless attacked first, and only after 4 a.m. But the Israeli offensive eliminated any possibility of restraint. Historically, Israel has violated ceasefire agreements over 900 times since its founding, often using short-term truces to regroup and prepare for larger offensives, and this case appears no different. According to various intelligence interpretations, Israel's defense systems were temporarily overwhelmed or malfunctioning following prior Iranian strikes, leading to strategic pressure on the United States to mediate a pause in hostilities. Trump's ceasefire proclamation may have been more about buying time for Israel to restore its defenses and resupply than any real peace effort. This pause also seemed timed to allow preparations for a much larger operation, possibly involving regime change in Iran, with direct focus on targeting Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The missile strikes following Trump's announcement exposed the fragility and dishonesty of these diplomatic theatrics. Iran, facing isolation in the region, had already antagonized its neighbors by launching missiles toward Qatar, a former ally, on the grounds that U.S. military installations in Qatar were used to attack Iranian positions. The response from Arab nations, already under pressure to align with the U.S. and Israel, further cornered Iran in a precarious geopolitical trap. Even though Iran had suffered grave blows, such as the deaths of senior nuclear scientists, extensive damage to its nuclear infrastructure, and the reported loss of military commanders, it had yet to launch its full retaliation. Many suspect it is only a matter of time before Iran hits back with significant force, potentially unleashing a regional war. Trump's declarations of peace were broadcast globally, intended to frame him as the sole figure capable of ending conflict, as he reminded audiences of his past claims that he ended the India-Pakistan standoff and de-escalated North Korean tensions. He went so far as to congratulate the world and Qatar for achieving peace, even as explosions echoed across Israel and the region braced for further chaos. The pattern of manipulation became clearer. Trump announced a 2-week delay before any military escalation to allow diplomatic dialogue, but Israel struck just 8 hours later. Similarly, he declared there would be no strikes, only for missile salvos to follow within hours. These inconsistencies suggest that the so-called ceasefires were little more than geopolitical smokescreens, engineered to lull Iran into a false sense of security. Simultaneously, Israel is believed to be actively hunting for the whereabouts of Ayatollah Khamenei, seeking to eliminate Iran's top leadership in a decisive strike. Despite the public peace narrative, the military reality reveals a well-orchestrated campaign against Iran's political and military command. The Trump-Israel alliance appears to be executing a strategy designed to draw Iran into vulnerability and then strike hard while claiming diplomatic cover. Meanwhile, Russia has expressed concern and may be positioning itself to support Iran more directly, especially with advanced defense systems. Russian President Vladimir Putin even met with Iran's foreign minister, signaling a potential shift in global alignments should the situation escalate further. What becomes increasingly evident is that even if hostilities temporarily pause, they are unlikely to end permanently. The attacks on Iranian facilities, leadership, and allies have inflicted deep wounds, and history suggests Iran will seek revenge. However, any counterstrike could be used as a pretext by Israel and the US for a full-scale invasion or campaign for regime change. Iranian leadership understands this and must now weigh its response carefully, knowing that any action could trigger overwhelming retaliation. In the midst of this uncertainty, Media across the world are curating the narrative to fit political agendas. Israeli media claims Israel is victorious, Iranian media proclaims strategic success, and international outlets parrot Trump's peace narrative. Yet behind these headlines is a brewing storm. The goal of Israel, as perceived by many analysts, is not merely defense, but domination, to take full control of the region, dismantle Iran's nuclear ambitions, and neutralize its ideological leadership. They are unlikely to stop short of that objective. The current ceasefire, if one exists at all, is more likely a tactical pause in an ongoing war, not its conclusion. The people of the region now live in a state of suspended dread, knowing that missiles may fly again at any moment, and that the war may only intensify in the coming days. The illusion of peace has become a strategic weapon, and Iran, surrounded by adversaries and betrayed by former allies, must navigate this battlefield with extreme caution.